In the previous class, we have the last thing, in the last video, the last thing that we have understood is the C3 cycle and why it is known as the C3 cycle. But however, the C3 cycle that I had explained was this. This was the C3 cycle that I had explained. It was quite rusty, but if you see the explanation, you will understand. Now, if you remember the previous day's C3 cycle explanation, you will understand today's C3 cycle explanation. Okay, because I will explain C3 cycle in another, just one change I will do when I make understand the C3 cycle. See, you already now know the C3 cycle. How will I begin is, suppose you take RUBP. Okay, RUBP is ribulose bisphosphate or biphosphate. Ribulose biphosphate. So it is a 5 carbon sugar containing 2 phosphates at first carbon and fifth carbon. It is also known as ribulose 1,5 biphosphate or bisphosphate. It is also known as ribulose 1,5 biphosphate because it shows that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first carbon there is a phosphate, fifth carbon there is a phosphate. Anyway, now this is a 5 carbon sugar and this will accept CO2 to become phosphoglycerate or phosphoglyceric acid. Phosphoglyceric acid. Now to understand this, just this is 5 carbon, 1 carbon is coming from here, but this is a 3 carbon compound. Now to understand this, I have told that the 6 carbon joins and become 6 carbon, splits and become 3 carbon, and I had explained in that way. So I will also recapitulate previous day's explanation and today's new explanation so that you understand things. Okay, so I had said that this RUBP comes with CO2 and the 6 carbon 1, 5 carbon plus 1 carbon, 6 carbon 1 breaks from the middle and becomes a 3 carbon PGA. So as because it breaks, that means there are 2 molecules. In this way we understood. But today what we will do is, here we have taken 1 molecule of RUBP and a CO2 has come and PGA has come. Here we have done one molecule, but here we will understand with 3 molecules. First only we will consider that there are 3 molecules to make the stoichiometry even. Okay, so if you take 3 molecules, and here if you take 3 molecules, so with each of the molecule 1 carbon will go, right? So 5 carbon, there are 3 molecules of 5 carbon and 5 carbon. 3 molecules are there. So 1 carbon, 1 is 3 molecules of CO2 are there. एक CO2 से C will go, एक CO2 से C will go, तीसरे CO2 से C will go. So there will be how many molecules now? There will be 3 molecules of 6 carbon sugars, right or wrong? So if each of them breaks from the middle and the 3 carbon sugar comes, so from here 2 molecule will be 3 carbon and 3 carbon, 2 molecule will become 2 molecule. So it will become 6 molecules. So in the previous section, in the previous video when I had made you understand, I had made you understand in this way. This is 1 molecule, 5 carbon, 1 molecule with and breaking from inside from middle, 6 carbon atom wala 1 molecule breaks from middle, 3 carbon, 2 molecules. But here we will understand that there are 6 molecules. I hope you have understood the difference. First only we have taken 3 molecules and we will understand that there are 6 molecules. Now why am I doing this difference is that to understand the stoichiometry properly, you will understand why I am doing this. Now when this is 6 molecules, so from this step if we go into the next step, when we went into the next step, as because 2 molecules were there, so 2 ATP I have done, 1,3 diphosphoglycerate. So now if I have to make 1,3 diphosphoglycerate, if I have to make this, which is a 3 carbon sugar again, but the difference between this and this is also a 3 carbon sugar of 6 molecules are present, and this is a 3 carbon sugar. Obviously number of molecules will not be less, so here also will be 6 molecules. But in each of the molecules, what will happen is, in each of the molecules there will be entry of 1 phosphate, because here is only 1 phosphate, here is 1,3 diphosphate. So here we will understand that 6 ATP will become 6-ADP. Yes or no? Now this is the step. Now in this step, in the previous class I forgot to say, the enzyme which adds RuBP with CO2 is known as Rubisco. 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 Ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase. Ribulose bisphosphate. So the full form is ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase. So it acts as a carboxylase. Rubisco acts as a carboxylase. The one which acts as carboxylase adds up CO2. Okay, it adds up CO2. So what actually happens is that this is the step which is known as carboxylation. This step is known as carboxylation. So this is step number 1, carboxylation. Now next part will go into the next video. To speak in the you have seen up to this much now, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate and 6 molecules of this. So carboxylation will occur. Now what will occur? The step 2, that is the reduction. Now in reduction what happens? In reduction the NADPH2 will become again NADP and the hydrogen will enter and 6 phosphates will come out. So if it is so, it is phosphoglyceraldehyde. It will form PGAL. PGAL means phosphoglyceraldehyde. So phosphoglyceraldehyde has 1 phosphate, so 6 phosphates will come out. So 3 carbon wala 6 molecules. So if it is 6 molecules, so definitely 6 NADPH2 will become 6 NADP. And from here, if there is 6 molecules, from here 1 molecule will go and become glucose. But in 1 molecule there are 3 carbons. So for glucose 3 carbon is already taken. The PGAL, 1 molecule of PGAL will convert into 1 molecule of PGAL, then again this cycle will run just twice. Here I had told you that when PGAL comes, it is a PGAL. From PGAL what happens? 1 carbon goes, I said. 2 molecules, 3 carbon, 2 molecules, 1 carbon goes and 5 remains, and 3 carbon here and 2 carbon here, and they join to create a 5 carbon sugar, ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate. Here I have taken a shortcut just to make you understand what in raw it is we should understand, but you have to stoichiometrically understand in points of molecules. So 1 molecule of PGAL will go and give 3 carbon, but we need another 3 carbon to make glucose, C6H12O6. So this cycle should run twice according to this stoichiometry, but according to this stoichiometry it should run 6 times. Okay, now what will happen? So therefore 1 molecule will go, so 6 molecules were there. Now there will be 5 molecules of, now again PGAL, which will be 5 molecules. Now these 5 molecules, now this step is regeneration. Okay, now what will happen is this 5 molecules of PGAL. Now if I understand 5 molecules of PGAL, okay, this 5 molecules of PGAL means now there will be 15 carbons, because 6 molecules of 3 carbon, 6 3 are 18 total carbons were there. 6 molecules of 3 carbon sugar, 3 carbon sugar, 3 carbon sugar, 3 carbon, 6 molecules were there. Now there are total 15 carbons because 5 molecules of PGAL are there. These will add up and create a ribulose 5-phosphate. Now if it creates ribulose 5-phosphate, which is a 5 carbon sugar, so if you have to make 15 carbons, so it should be 3 molecules now. It should be 3 molecules, yes or no? 3 molecules of ribulose bisphosphate. So if there are 3 molecules of ribulose 5-phosphate, so 3 phosphates should be there, but how many phosphates are there? 15 carbon. Okay, so 5 molecules were there, so 5 molecules, in each molecule 1 phosphorus was there, phosphoglyceraldehyde. From each molecule 1 phosphate was there, so 2 phosphates will go out from here. Now there are from 5 phosphates 3 phosphates are left. So now 3 molecules will form of 5 carbon and 1 phosphate will be with each. Now here as because it become 3 carbon, now what will happen is 3 ADP will become 3 ATP and 3 more phosphates will come and it will hence become ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate. 1,5, 1 phosphate was already there, 5th phosphate will enter. So I hope that you have understood this in the new way also. Now if you want to count out the total number of how many times this cycle goes on to make 1 glucose, definitely twice. If it is twice, then there is 12 ATP used here, plus here 3 to just 6 ATP used here. So total 18 ATP is used. There also previous day when we calculated, it was 18 ATPs because here we consider 2 ATP, 6 times it goes in according to this explanation, so 18. Anyway, so if it goes twice, 12 NADPH2, last day also we did 12 NADPH2 only to create 1 molecule of glucose. I hope that you have understood the dark reaction of the C3 cycle well. Now why this is known as C3 cycle? This is known as C3 cycle because the first stable compound was phosphoglyceric acid. Now in the previous video I had told you that how did they track this pathway. They could track this pathway because they radio labeled the carbon. Okay, they could track this pathway because the carbon was radio labeled. When the carbon was radio labeled, all the molecules showed radioactivity and hence they were tracked. Okay, so where this carbon is going, it was tracked because the entire glucose will be radio labeled, all the carbons here. So in this way they had tracked this thing. So I hope this it become dirty. This was also dirty, but explanation is always dirty. So I am sending you a fresh picture so that you can compare and understand. Now if I go into the next section, little bit talk about the enzyme Rubisco should be done. You see this Rubisco is actually has 2 activities as an enzyme. The Rubisco can act as a carboxylase. The Rubisco can also act as an oxygenase. Carboxylase means the enzyme Rubisco, when there is RUBP, ribulose 1-phosphate by 1,5 bisphosphate, it adds up with a CO2, its carboxylase action adds up the RUBP to CO2 to create PGA or phosphoglyceric acid. But however, when it acts as oxygenase, it will not add CO2 to RUBP. When it will act as oxygenase, it will look to add up oxygen, and it acts as an oxygenase when there is number 1 condition, high oxygen concentration, and number 2, high temperature. So in these two conditions, the Rubisco acts as an oxygenase and not as an carboxylase. So in these two conditions, when it will act as an oxygenase, the phosphoglyceric acid will not be produced. Okay, or will be produced less because its oxygenase activity is also getting, more intense. What will happen when it acts as oxygenase? That we will understand in the next portion. Now, as far I have said in the previous video, that when it will act as oxygenase, then what will happen? If Rubisco will act as oxygenase, then the RUBP will bind with O2 and the compound that will be formed is phosphoglycolate and not PGA, phosphoglyceric acid. It will form phosphoglycolate. This is a 2 carbon compound, and hence now the cycle that will go on is a C2 cycle. It is also known as photorespiration. Many people ask, what is photorespiration? Photorespiration occurs in plants like rice, wheat, barley, etc. plants which grow in temperate regions. As because they grow in temperate regions, they face this thing, high concentration of O2 and high temperature, and hence what happens, their Rubisco acts as oxygenase also at a high intensity, and RUBP binds with O2 and forms phosphoglycolate and not PGA. So what will happen from PGA, C3 cycle or the production of glucose will proceed, but here, as because phosphoglycolate is formed, it will run into a different kind of cycle which I'll tell you. But as because phosphoglycolate will form, at that time what will happen, there is utilization of O2 already, and there will be release of CO2, and this CO2 is not the CO2 of the atmosphere. This carbon is taken from the plant only, or the plant cell material or molecules, cell molecules. So that means it is losing its native C. Utilization of O2 and release of CO2 occurs in this cycle. That's why it is known as respiration. It is occurring in the presence of light, or it is occurring in the photosynthesis process. That's why it is known as photo. So photorespiration is a side process from C3 cycle. Apart from the C3 cycle, the C2 cycle is a side process which is going on, and release of CO2 is occurring from the plant molecules. The plant is supposed to utilize the C from the CO2 of the atmosphere and make the C as the building material of its compounds like glucose, but ulta from its compounds it is releasing the CO2, and it is hence a harmful process or a process which leads to loss. Okay, so this is photorespiration. Now you will understand this better when I go into the detail of the C2 cycle or how photorespiration occurs. Acha, now talking about the photorespiration thing, so this is the cycle we have to understand. See, RUBP in the presence of high concentration of oxygen and high temperature. So high concentration of oxygen and high temperature. What actually is happening in the chloroplast? This is the chloroplast, okay. What actually is happening in the stroma of the chloroplast is this, that the oxygen is taken, and the RUBP takes oxygen and converts into phosphoglycolate, which releases PI, and glycolic acid is the first stable compound, which is 2 carbon. And then from the chloroplast it goes into the peroxisome. This is the peroxisome. So this is the peroxisome. In peroxisome, the glycolic acid converts into glycolate and H2O2. Okay, the glycolate then converts into glycine, which is an amino acid which contains 2 carbons. But these glycine are of 2 molecules, because the serine also converts into glycine by addition of an NH2. Okay, here only, and 2 molecules of glycines are there. When there are 2 molecules of glycerine, if it is 2 carbon, so 2 molecules of glycine will have 4 carbon. Now 1 carbon will go out as CO2, and there will be remaining 3 carbons. So 1 molecule of serine, which is a 3 carbon compound, will form, which is an amino acid, and the serine will again go back into the peroxisome. This happens in the mitochondria. Now what basically will occur is, the NH2 will get released. This NH2 getting released actually goes into the peroxisome back, and the glycine comes into the mitochondria and releases CO2. So glycine is the native amino acid of the plant. It has created, the amino acid is made, synthesized with carbons which it has taken from the atmosphere. Now its body's carbon, its amino acids carbon is getting lost. So isn't it a process which is creating loss, or a destructive process, or a process which is harmful? So CO2 is going away, and then NADP will get converted into NADPH2, and what actually will happen is, it is getting reduced and creating serine. Serine will go into the paroxysm again and get converted into hydroxypyruvic acid, which is also a 3-carbon compound, if you remember. So I hope you understand glycine is a 2-carbon compound, glyoxylate is a 2-carbon compound, this is a 2-carbon compound, and this 2-carbon compound will be produced 2 molecules because in the paroxysm serine is also getting converted into glycine. At that time NH2 is adding because extra NH2 is required in glycine, and hence what is happening, this 2 molecule will total contain 4 carbon because 1 molecule is 2 carbon, and the CO2 will be released. So remaining is 3 carbon now, which will form the serine, which is a 3-carbon compound, and the serine will go into paroxysm. And from serine, hydroxypyruvic acid will form, which will form glyceric acid, and this glyceric 1 ATP will get converted into ADP. Again, ATP is also getting destroyed. Okay, so it will create phosphoglyceric acid. This phosphoglyceric acid will then enter into the C3 cycle. Actually, C3 cycle is happening, it is running. The Rubisco enzyme is partially acting as carboxylase, partially acting as oxygenase. C3 cycle is continuing, but what actually happened is not much CO2 is being captured, and the PGA is not formed at much high amount. So it acts as oxygenase, 2-carbon compound, then it goes into paroxysm, glyoxidate, glycine, loses 1 carbon dioxide, which is a loss, and then comes back and gives back PGA. So the process is also prolonged. The C3 cycle is also prolonged. See, the C2 cycle is a side cycle of C3, which is a loss making cycle. It is not that this plant is not photosynthesizing or not doing C3 cycle. It is doing C3 cycle, but side by side it is also doing C2 cycle, which is photorespiration, because CO2 is lost. And in the C2 cycle, such processes are occurring which is giving back PGA, but a delayed C3 cycle, a slow C3 cycle is being done. And also you can notice there is loss of CO2 and ATP, which was not required. So this is photorespiration. It is which occurs due to when Rubisco acts as an oxygenase, and hence this process takes place, as you can see. And what happens is the lots of losses occur. So photorespiration C2 cycle is a loss giving process, and it occurs in plants like this in these conditions. So I hope you have understood. Okay, so if you have understood the C2 cycle, which I have done in the last portion of the video, the C2 cycle, which is photorespiration, right? And the details of photorespiration you have understood. Photorespiration occurs when O2 concentration is high and temperature is high. So plants like wheat, barley, rice, they suffer photorespiration, which is a process which incurs loss to the plant because it loses CO2, like you have learned from the pathway. Some plants, to avoid photorespiration, has undertaken 2 adaptations. What are the 2 adaptations? Number 1, they have dimorphic chloroplast. And number 2, dimorphic chloroplast, and number 2, they have Kranz anatomy. The name is after the scientist who discovered it. No. Kranz, the word Kranz means wreath. The word Kranz means not after the scientist, sorry. The name of the word Kranz means wreath. So the Kranz anatomy is that the bundle sheath cells of the plant's vascular bundles has a wreath-like arrangement. Means a wreath-like arrangement means a deeply rooted, deeply seated and circular. Okay, so this is the meaning of wreath-like arrangement. So the bundle sheath cells of the plants of the vascular bundle has a wreath-like arrangement or deeply seated circular arrangement. Suppose if these are the epidermis, these are the mesophyll cells of the palisade layer, if you can imagine. These, if you see this is the palisade layer of mesophyll cells, this is the spongy layer of mesophyll cells. This is the cross section of this leaf, and you know through the leaves veins go, right? So when you get the cross section, when you the veins get cut, these are the the veins, the bundle sheaths, the xylems and the phloems, right? So these vascular bundles are arranged with circular arrangement of bundle sheath cells. Okay, the bundle sheath cells are the covering cells of the vascular bundles. They are circularly arranged in this way. So this is called crans and anubi, and they are deeply seated, So what happens is the two types of chloroplast, the dimorphic chloroplast, are the granal and agranal chloroplast. Now if you have understood up to this much, keep this in one portion of your mind, and I hope you have understood what I have explained here also. Keep these things in one portion of your mind. Now the thing that we'll try to understand is that you see the dimorphic chloroplast is dimorphic chloroplast. If I talk about the dimorphic chloroplast that I am trying to talk about is granal and agranal. Granal and agranal chloroplast. Granal chloroplast, agranal means some chloroplasts are having grana in them, and there are some chloroplasts which do not have grana in them. No grana, just the stroma part. These are agranal chloroplasts. And remember, the agranal chloroplasts, these agranal chloroplasts are situated in the bundle sheath cells. Okay. And the granal chloroplasts are present in the mesophyll cells, like normal plants. Okay, so the granal chloroplasts are present in the mesophyll cells, and the agranal chloroplasts are present in the bundle sheath cells. So I hope the entire information of this video is very clear in your mind, that what is the adaptation that I am talking about. Plants have taken up to save themselves from photorespiration so that they do not lose oxygen due to photorespiration. They don't want to lose oxygen due to photorespiration. So when they don't want to lose oxygen due to photorespiration, they go and do they have plants like plants like maize. Some plants like maize, sorghum, sugar cane. Plants like maize, sorghum, sugar cane. These are plants which tries to save themselves from photorespiration, and when they try to save themselves from photorespiration, they undergo these two adaptations. Now you have learned that what these adaptations are, what is Grant's anatomy, and also you have learned that what do you mean by dimorphic chloroplast. But how these two adaptations help them to overcome or bypass the photorespiratory pathway, which you have learned in the last video. So if we have understood the adaptation, now you'll understand that how this adaptation supports the bypassing of photorespiration, and why in C4 plants like sugarcane, maize and sorghum and some other plants the photorespiration does not occur. However, in them the C4 cycle occurs, and we say that the C4 cycle is the cycle which bypasses the photorespiration. No C2 cycle is there which does photorespiration, and C4 cycle is also the cycle which is the preceding cycle of C3 cycle, which occurs so that C3 cycle can occur properly, and there is synthesis of glucose from the C3 cycle. So this is the main advantage of C4 cycle. But C4 cycle will never occur in a plant which does not have a Kranz anatomy or does not have granule and agranule chloroplast. The Kranz anatomy has to be present, because half of the cycle will occur in the mesophyll cell and the half of the cycle will occur in the bundle sheath cells. Actually, where the problem aroused is that in normal plants, if you recall little bit, what happens is the C3 cycle occurs in the mesophyll cells, yes or no? In the mesophyll cells, and in the mesophyll cells what happens? There are grana, there is chloroplast. Suppose this is the chloroplast only. This is the mesophyll cell. This is the chloroplast. In the chloroplast, there is grana and there is stroma. In the grana, there is synthesis of NADH2, NADPH2 and ATP, which is utilized in the stroma where the C3 cycle goes on. Now, when C3 cycle goes on, C3 cycle is the cycle which fixes the CO2, or captures the CO2. The RUBP captures the CO2 to make PGA by the enzyme Rubisco. Now the problem was created by the enzyme Rubisco, which not only acts as a carboxylase which adds up CO2, but also acts as an oxygenase, which in the presence of high concentration of O2 and temperature, what will happen is that the Rubisco acting as oxygenase will form glycolic acid, which is a problem, which is a C2 cycle. Now from there a cycle runs, which I have explained yesterday. Okay, so this cycle which runs, okay, and there is release of CO2. It is actually as if that RUBP is taking in oxygen and giving out CO2, just like respiration. But this C is actually the loss of the plant, because it is the carbon lost from the molecules of the cell of the plants. And ulta C3 cycle should fix the atmospheric CO2, but however C3 cycle goes on but becomes slow due to the bypassing of this cycle, which you have learnt in detail. You can see in the previous section of the video. Now, what basically occurs is that as because the entire C3 cycle and the photophosphorylation means making of NADPH2 and ATP, the Z scheme, the photosystems that you have learnt in the initial of this chapter, those occurs in the grana, and the C3 cycles occurs in the stroma, in the mesophyll cells. In the mesophyll cell only there is presence of peroxisome, and due to the presence of peroxisome and high concentration of O2 in temperate plants, this photorespiration occurs. But as because this is a huge loss, taking in CO2 and 6 times occurring taking in CO2 and 6 times the occurrence of the cycle to create just one glucose molecule, and that too it has to pay for by photosynthesis, by releasing CO2 continuously, then it's a loss. Okay, it delays the process, like I said in the previous portion of the video also. But now the fact is this, that when this is happening in the chloroplast only, and the chloroplast is situated where? The chloroplast is situated in the mesophyll cells and the top layer, palisade cells. What they have done is they have made 2 types of chloroplast, that is dimorphic chloroplast, one granule and the egg granule. Now in the mesophyll cells, the granule chloroplast are there. In the mesophyll cells, the granule chloroplast are there, where the photophosphorylation is occurring. Photophosphorylation. Okay. The photophosphorylation or the oxidative photophosphorylation is occurring, because and ADP is becoming ATP, and also reduction potential is created, NADPH2 NADP to NADPH2. These two are created, which will be required in the C3 cycle. Now, the fact is this, that the C3 cycle doesn't occur in the mesophyll cell only. It occurs in the agranal chloroplast, and the C3 cycle occurs in the bundle sheath cells, in the agranal chloroplast. So, how this problem is solved is because the bundle sheath cells are located far deep, and hence automatically the oxygen concentration will be lowered, the temperature will also be cool. So the high oxygen concentration, which was basically the supporter of the photorespiration, and high temperature is looked after by this by this trick or technique. When it is looked after by this trick or technique, it becomes a very nice adaptation that, okay, fine, photorespiration, photophosphorylation will occur just in the mesophyll cells, and what will happen in mesophyll cell, some part of the C4 cycle will begin, and mainly the C3 cycle will occur in the agranal chloroplast, which is synthesis in the bundle sheath cell. And in the agranal chloroplast, which is situated in the bundle sheath cell, the Rubisco will only act as carboxylase now. The Rubisco will only act as carboxylase and not as oxygenase. Why? Because the oxygen concentration is low, deeply situated and occurring in the bundle sheath cells. What basically happens is, I'll tell you in a very lucid way. Okay, what basically occurs is, suppose you see at first the CO2 and H2O are combined to make H2CO3. Okay, forget everything about C3 cycle and everything. This is C4 cycle. The HCO3 combines with a 3-carbon compound known as phosphoenol pyruvate. PEP means what? Phosphoenol pyruvate. Phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay, now this phosphoenol pyruvate that is made combines with the HCO3, 3-carbon becomes a 4-carbon compound, oxaloacetic acid. This is the first stable compound. Now, when this first stable compound or the oxaloacetic acid has formed, this oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound, and hence the first stable 4-carbon compound, and hence the name C4 cycle. Okay, first stable compound is 4-carbon compound. From oxaloacetic acid, it gets converted into malic acid. Up to this much, it occurs in the mesophyll cells. Okay, and the reduction potential and everything is made in the mesophyll cells, and it is transferred to the bundle sheath cells. Now, what will happen is, the malic acid will come into the bundle sheath cells. In the bundle sheath cell, the malic acid will get converted into pyruvic acid. Before that, I would like to say you that the enzyme here, which was the first enzyme which was taking up the CO2 there, was the Rubisco, yes or no, which was present in the mesophyll cell itself, in the stroma of the mesophyll cell. But here, it is PEPCO, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, which adds PEP with a CO2, or in this process to make a oxaloacetic acid. So the difference in C3 and C4 plants here, one difference you can see is the PEPCO is the enzyme, or phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase is the enzyme which fixes the CO2 and makes oxaloacetic acid, which is the first stable compound. Now this malic acid comes, and from this malic acid pyruvic acid forms, which is a 3-carbon compound again, and hence a CO2 comes out. This CO2 is now taken up by RUBP, where the Rubisco enzyme is present in the bundle sheath cell, and as because the bundle sheath cells are deeply situated, they will not have any high O2 concentration, or temperature will also be continuously lower, because the bundle sheath cells, the vascular bundles is carrying water, right? So the bundle sheath cells is because it is carrying water, so the sheath cells will remain cooler, and hence the Rubisco will only act as carboxylase and not as oxygenase, and there is no chance of photorespiration or formation of any glycolic acid. Okay, so the glycolic acid फॉर्म होने से तो फोटो रेस्पिरेशन होता, और अगर ये ऑक्सीजन इस हिसाब से एक्ट करता तो ये कार्बोक्सिलेज हिसाब से एक्ट करेगा, and only C3 cycle will go on. So this is how they have managed, and this is the C4 cycle. Now what happens is the pyruvic acid that has formed, that goes into the mesophyll cells, and in the mesophyll cells again PAPE is regenerated. Otherwise in the next cycle who will take the CO2? Right or wrong? The CO2 has to be taken. So when the PAPE or the phosphoenol pyruvate is regenerated, 1 AMP becomes ATP. So 1 AMP becoming ATP is equivalent to 2 ADPs becoming 2 ATPs. Yes or no? Because in 1 AMP, if there is a P bond, sorry, ATP becomes AMP. So in ATP, if there is a 3P bond, if 2 bonds are broken, so that becomes AP, that is adenosine monophosphate or AMP. Now what will happen is see what happens when ADP, APPP, one bond breaks and it forms APP, which is ADP. So breaking of one phosphodiester bond gives out how much energy, and breaking of 2 phosphodiester bond will give out double the amount of energy. So 2 ATPs, it is same as 2 ATPs breaking down into 2 ATPs. So एनर्जी खर्चा होता है. कितना एनर्जी ज़्यादा खर्चा होता है? देखो, अगर ये C3 साइकिल 6 टाइम्स चले तो एक C6H12O6 चले बनेगा. यस और नो? तो 6 टाइम्स चलने के लिए इसको 6 to 12 ATPs ज़रूरत होगा. और इसका दिस साइकिल में, केल्विन साइकिल में खुद 18 ATPs का ज़रूरत है, जो पहले पढ़े हो. तो टोटल 30 ATPs ज़रूरत होता है. इन C4 साइकिल 18 ATP के जगह जो सिर्फ C3 साइकिल में यूज़ होता था, इन C4 साइकिल एक ग्लूकोज बनाने के लिए 12 ATP ज़्यादा लग रहा है. लेकिन 12 ATP ज़्यादा लग रहा है वो भी अच्छा है. द लॉस ऑफ CO2 हैज़ बीन स्टॉप्ड. So I hope that you have understood this.